Human beings are being killed as I speak to you tonight. Killed as a direct result of policy decisions we as a body have made.
It was real funny because they said, okay, now you just look in the camera and very close for a minute. And I'm looking very serious. I said, Jesus, in my mind I'm saying, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I must look real stupid. Plus I'm so close that my nose has got to be wider than all get out. So my wife wakes me up about a week or so later and she says, oh, Mike, I got some bad news. And there's some crazy thing on the internet where you look ridiculous. Well, you're throwing a rock in the water. Well, that's not ridiculous. That's these young kids that did this thing. Well, lo and behold, that very day we get a call from one of the networks that want to know what I'm doing. And that there's a big reaction to this. So I've got to sit and think, well, what was I doing? And I wasn't going to call the kids and say, what does all this mean? I had to figure it out. So I figured out, well, there must be a message here. So I figured out that this is a metaphor, that one is focusing on one life, and then you turn around, throw a rock, that creates ripples, and then you go off to your demise. Well, lo and behold, the drop in the water becomes our logo. And that's what's on the back of this book, Citizen Power, that I've just published.
Do you think that that's what they had in mind when they had you throw the rock in the water?
Totally.
We purposefully chose lower quality cameras to feel like anyone could have made this video.
I wasn't aware that they were using second-class equipment. That would have maybe affected my attitude.
At the time in 2007, YouTube was reshaping how people were sharing stories and representing themselves. We were looking at viral videos and trying to figure out, could there be a recipe for this? Is there a way to get in there and do something that would become viral?
Charlie bit me.
And then we saw Gravel.
He has been called a loose cannon and a maverick.
Some of these people frighten me. They frighten me.
My intent was not so much to become president, because I thought that that was more than a long shot.
Now, I never heard of this guy before, and the other candidates don't seem to have either.
My interest was to try to bring attention to developing direct democracy, which is where the people could make laws by initiative.
It seemed like we could team up and do something amazing.
And they did. They did. They had it all figured out, and I had confidence in them. I was impressed with them as young people, committed. And so I didn't understand it. As I was looking at the camera, all I could think of, my God, I must look dumb as all get out. You always think that when the cameras are on, you're going to be saying something, but I just stuck with it. Then they said, Senator, turn around and walk down the path a little bit, pick the rock up and throw it in the water. Now, interestingly enough, they brought these rocks up from Los Angeles, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, we had all of our props lined up. We wanted to make a video that looked like maybe Gravel just put a camera on a tripod and was just improvising the way someone might take a selfie.
Wow. One of the more unusual presidential ad campaigns begins.
The media, they had a mystery on their hands.
Why would any presidential candidate produce a video that is this strange?
So the normal reaction was, well, we'll contact the senator and find out what the heck he thinks he was doing with this. And of course, that's when it came into the situation where I hadn't given any thought to what I was doing. I'm embarrassed if I have to call them and ask them.
Now, what about this other video?
And so I just doped it out that this was a metaphor of life. I didn't view it as a political spot at all. Throwing a rock in the water was a metaphor for causing ripples and changes in society and then walking down and disappearing. Isn't that what life's about? Now, that's a metaphor for somebody who's trying to do something significant. Now, that many of the pundits don't understand that, well, is that a surprise to you?
That's right. We don't understand it.
That's right.
At the core of the videos isn't a code to be deciphered, but was designed to elicit a certain response. We wanted people to sit up from their couch and ask, what was that? Who is that person? And specifically to go to the website. Now we have a theater of politics. It's just one more way for people to entertain themselves, one more channel to tune into, one more show. While politics has theater as a component of it, our politics shouldn't be theater.
You're right, I made that statement, but that's before I had a chance to stand with them three times. It's like going into the Senate. You know, the first time you get there, you're all excited, my God, how did I ever get here? Then about 6 months later, you say, how the hell did the rest of them get here? And I got to tell you, after standing up with them, some of these people frighten me. They frighten me. When you have mainline candidates that turn around and say that there's nothing off the table with respect to Iran, that's code for using nukes, nuclear devices. I got to tell you, I'm President of the United States. There will be no preemptive wars with nuclear devices. To my mind, it's immoral, and it's been immoral for the last 50 years as part of American foreign policy.
Let's use a little moderator discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage exactly tonight worries you so much?
Well, I would say the top-tier ones. The top-tier ones. They made statements. Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country. I got to tell you, we should just plain get out. Just plain get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there. And why not get out? What harm is it going to do? Oh, you hear the statement, well, my God, the soldiers will have died in vain. The entire deaths of Vietnam died in vain. And they're dying in vain right this very second. You know what's worse than a soldier dying in vain? Is more soldiers dying in vain. That's what's worse.
But let's maybe bring up the topic of the day, which is the Green New Deal.
How much will this cost? That's unclear. How will we pay for it? Unknown.
It's not realistic.
Because there's no way to pay for it.
It's immoral.
The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy.
I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons.
I think Medicare for all is one of the possible paths.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. This was a little controversial in San Francisco.
He did ask you yes or no. Would you support free college for all?
I am not for free four-year college for all, no.
Human beings are being killed as I speak to you tonight, killed as a direct result of policy decisions we as a body have made.
This approach of war on drugs has not succeeded. We've spent billions of dollars on it.
And we fill up our prisons to the point where we're the embarrassment of the world. We're supposed to be a democracy. We've got more people in prison, 2.3 million people in prison.
We spend more as a nation on defense than all the rest of the world put together. This whole nation should be a sanctuary for the world. I'm ashamed as an American to be building a fence on our southern border. That's not the America that I fought for. Our soldiers died in Vietnam in vain. You can now, John, go to Hanoi and get a Baskin-Robbins ice cream cone.
Why do they hate us so in so many places around the world? Because we kill so many people wantonly.
Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country. And we can get off of gasoline in 5 years, and we can get off of carbon in 10 years. All we got to do is want to do it. Just play get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there. The military-industrial complex not only controls our government, lock, stock, and barrel, but they control our culture. It's time to make some waves for change. I'm Mike Gravel, and I'm running for president.